Welcome to Preppy. I'm TJ Holmes, he's Thomas Lawrence. Northern Section playoffs semifinals. Our game of the week is in Division 1. Enterprise hosting Foothill. The top-seeded Hornets are undefeated on the year, and they absolutely walloped Foothill when they played them earlier this year, 56-0. These are two teams kind of coming in different. You know, Enterprise had an extra week off. Foothill got a big win last week against Shasta in the playoffs to advance to the semifinals. And this is just another chapter in the recent rivalry for these two.
Absolutely, a little bit different, as I've said a bit this week. In years past, it's kind of been like Goliath versus Goliath, and these teams will play in the regular season, the playoffs. Now, Foothill's kind of that day. Enterprise this season's been dominant from beginning to end, a perfect regular season. Foothill, though, kind of had to flounder for a while before they found themselves. They're 4-7. They're coming in their first 3-game winning streak, and it's just this whole new thing. And their offense has really come around too lately.
Yeah, with the way Enterprise has had, with all the talk of the bowl game on them this year, and just undefeated at 10-0, the offense, the numbers that they're putting up, their defense, just how stingy they are. You look at Foothill, and I mean, they limped into the playoffs. They've been playing playoff football basically every week for the last 2 months, just trying to get in. That this Foothill team has everything to gain. They basically have nothing to lose in this game. No one's expecting them to win, even let alone have it be close. You look at Enterprise; they have a lot on their shoulders for this game of having to perform well to be able to keep their bowl chances alive, to win decisively. So there's a lot that Enterprise has to be careful that they don't get complacent in this.
You're absolutely right. And Foothill, with that no tomorrow kind of attitude, it's a great week for them to really keep letting their quarterback Ryan Pollard loose, let him throw out of the shotgun, really mix that in there with that under center stuff they've done this year. We've seen when Enterprise is getting those wing T type attacks or running up the middle, they just stop it. They're so good in the trenches. The only team, or the team that's had the most success against Enterprise spreading the field was Chico. And letting Ryan Pollard spread the ball around, giving him some space back there is probably the Cougars' best option to try and keep up with Enterprise's scoring.
I would have to agree with you, and just to try and keep up. But that Enterprise defense is tough, as Foothill knows from the beginning of the year.
Absolutely.
Another semifinal game in Division 2, a game I'm going to be at. West Valley hosting Orlin. These are the top two scoring defenses in the Northern Section this year. West Valley number 1, Orlin number 2. With the way the weather's gone this week, with the rain for just days on days, playing on non-turf, which is we don't see very often up here. This is a grass field. Two teams that really like to hate each other, two run-heavy teams. This is what Smash Mouth football is going to be about.
Absolutely, TJ. And Orlin is one of those teams that really likes to take on the number 1 type heralded team. And we saw last year, it rained all semifinals week. It rained that night, and they almost beat Sutter, a team that went undefeated, that went to a NorCal bowl game. They were one fumble away, basically, from hanging in there. And for West Valley, things are going well for them right now. Ever since the early loss to Enterprise, they've been on a roll, doing everything they want to. But playing Orlin this time of year will never be fun. The way they've been rolling on defense.
Yeah, that defense is going to have their hands full with Austin Clark, the running back for West Valley. He's on the verge of becoming the school's first 2,000-yard single-season rusher, so that's a big milestone for him. He needs less than 100 yards for that. Then you got Brady Castman, power between the tackles, a great compliment to Clark. So that Orlin defense with Vic Ragoza and Arthur Flynn, two key players on that defense, it's going to have their hands full, and it's going to be a battle between the trenches in this one.
Possibly the best game in the semifinals, also in D2, a little bit south of us. Number 3 CV goes down to number 2 Sutter, and an incredible matchup between a couple of wing T teams, but a couple of very different teams. And CV has some balance, but in their ludicrous speed offense, they've really started to thrive and put up 57 points against Wheatland. You were there last week, TJ. Have they really started to hit their stride?
Yeah, CV head coach Matt Hunsaker said it to me perfectly. Last week after beating Wheatland, is that game against West Valley in the Valley Bowl woke them up, and since then they're averaging 48 points a game during a 5-game winning streak. So they're really hitting their stride at the right time, peaking going into the playoffs.
And Sutter's lost quite a bit from their championship run last year, but it's still a formidable team. They blew out last in the quarterfinals, and a wing T team like CV, but they pass a bit more. Junior Randy Post, I believe, has thrown for around 2,000 yards this year. He's thrown a ton. And what I noticed when I saw them play West Valley last year is that they're good in everything, and that's so tough to deal with for a high school team come November.
Yeah, CV's going to have their hands full with the passing game and a running game in this one. They do have some playmakers in that secondary to maybe pick off a pass or defend some passes. So it's going to come down to, I think this is going to be one of the best games of the weekend for the semifinals. in Division 6 and 8-man football is the championship. This is a week earlier because the playoffs start earlier. Number 2 Reading Christian hosting Butte Valley. Butte Valley upset Dunsmuir last week, the top seed. So Reading Christian back to where they were last year in this championship game at home. Let's see if the Lions can get their first section championship in school history.
And Butte Valley's a team that quarterback Hayden Piper hurt his clavicle against last year and was not able to play in that championship game, so a little more redemption maybe on the mind.
Absolutely. And for more high school football coverage and recap from the semifinals from 11-man and the finals from 8-man, check out prepbeat.com.